Want to watch football without the restrictions of blackouts or cable? Check out expressvpn.com to help you get access to all the live games. Sign up today using the link in the description to get 3 free months.
Yo, what up, Bolt fam? It's the director. Chargers fans, we kind of knew this was coming, right? We heard reports a couple of days ago or yesterday that J.C. Jackson was not at practice. It was later revealed that it was indeed injury related, and today we finally got the verdict on what's going on with the Chargers' brand new premier corner. And honestly, it's bad, but I guess it could be a lot worse. And I hate having to jump on and do videos, you know, with the bummer vibes. But at the same time, I think it's pretty important that we understand what's going on with J.C. Jackson and what the realistic return timetable kind of looks like. So when do we think he'll be back? What does the window look like? I think most importantly, what I want to cover in this video is what does this mean for our defense in the meantime? Because again, the Chargers schedule this season definitely looks pretty tough in its first couple of weeks, then softens out for the remainder of the first half before getting pretty stiff in competition again thereafter. So in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the whole J.C. Jackson situation. We're going to go over the timetable in which that we think he's going to be able to return, and then again, what we think the team is going to look like in his absence. Hopefully, again, guys, hopefully J.C. is not out for too long and he can return to normal business as usual sooner than later. So question in the comments before we do get started. With the first 2 games on our schedule, again being versus the Raiders and the Kansas City Chiefs, being the most crucial, will the Chargers try and get JC back by week 1 or 2? When do you guys think he's going to return? Let me know in the comment section below. Before we do kick off, guys, hit us up with a like and sub if you do enjoy this Chargers content. Small amount of time you guys take to hit the like, sub, and bell notification helps me out a lot. Let's get into this one. Lights, camera, action. Breaking news, J.C. Jackson and his injury update. Let's take a look at the tweet that was just put out moments ago by Lindsley Thury. Chargers cornerback J.C. Jackson underwent ankle surgery today. Jackson is estimated to return to play in approximately 2 to 4 weeks per Chargers official, and this has been confirmed by many different sources. Adam Schefter, they go on to say that he did have surgery at New York Hospital special surgery procedure, yada yada yada. Everybody's saying approximately 2 to 4 weeks is going to be the timetable in which JC will return. Now, I know what everybody's thinking, man. This sucks, right? This one's a big blow. The Chargers, of course, going out there and getting one of the best cornerbacks on the market. Should be a top 3 cornerback this season, despite the surgery. It is a low blow, right? It definitely does suck. But I mean, realistically, taking a look at things, it could have been a lot worse, right? 2 to 4 weeks. First off, what sort of ankle injury, or surgery should I say, only takes 2 to 4 weeks to heal? I have no idea. I'm not a doctor. You guys help me out in the comment section if you have any sort of specialties or guesses into which, surgery would only take that little amount of time to heal. Maybe add a little bit of clarity for us in there. And we're probably going to find out here in the next couple of days the specifics of the surgery and why the timetable is so short. But long story short, it could have been a lot worse. 2 to 4 weeks. I feel like the Chargers can survive that. Anything more than that, then we're definitely talking things get a little bit complicated. But this is going to carry an effect into the first few weeks of our schedule, no doubt. And that's kind of what I want to talk about the most. So first off, let's talk about the return window. Of course, 2 to 4 weeks, not too hard to figure out. We're going to go by the date of the surgery, which was today, this morning, as to the earliest that we can see him ready. Okay, so the earliest as far as I've been able to pan out here, if today is the day, if they're going by Tuesday, August 23rd, and not say week 1 of the NFL season, then the first day that he should be eligible to come back, or the first game I should say, is versus the Las Vegas Raiders in that home opening. We should see him ready by Tuesday, September 6th, which is 2 weeks. That's the 2-week window, and that gives him a little bit of wiggle room to return week 1, which of course is on September 11th. That's kind of the best case scenario, right? 4 weeks from today, however, would be September 20th, which puts him in line to play week 3 versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. So kind of keep that in mind. Best case scenario that we're looking at right now, again, is versus the Raiders in week 1. That would put him about 2.5 weeks after the surgery and his recovery time. And this would be pretty big because we would desperately need him versus Davante Adams. The worst case scenario, in my opinion, would actually be versus the Houston Texans. Was that right here? Versus the Houston Texans. Which I think, going off the Chargers and Staley specifically, they might elect to hold him out just a little bit longer, right? Brandon Staley, very, very cautious with injuries. So worst case scenario, maybe we don't see him back until week 4. Maybe the timetable is more in terms of games missed rather than actual weeks missed. But I wouldn't think that's the case. I think they would have said games instead of weeks if that really were the case. Still, that would be tough, especially, opening the season with 2 division rivals. But still, I think, in my opinion, the very worst case scenario that I can think of is his return in week 4 versus Houston. So what does this mean for the team specifically? Well, essentially, if JC were to miss at least, let's say, the first 2 games, the matchups would change, right? You'll likely see Bryce Callahan or Asante Samuel Jr. face up against Davante Adams. And if we're all being honest here, right, I think that matchup's going to go to the Raiders. Of course, when we had JC in the lineup for week 1, at least, projected right now, we may have heard, a bit of different stories in terms of Davante Adams' ceiling versus the team. Nothing against Bryce Callahan or Asante Samuel, but, Davante Adams is one of the best wide receivers in the league. It's going to be tough for anybody to defend. The other thing we're probably going to see is Mike Davis get a significant bump in snaps his first couple of weeks, despite when JC decides to return. You'll likely see Juju Smith-Schuster lined up against, a Mike Davis, Asante Samuel Jr., and Mike Davis, of course, being the man at cornerback, let's say 4 right now, is going to be inserted to the lineup just a little bit more. I think, all in all, what I'm trying to get at is that I feel like we can still hold our own, right? The Chargers still have really good cornerbacks, even though the matchups aren't going to be as favorable with JC in the lineup. The biggest benefit that we still have right now is our pass rush, right? If Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa can generate enough heat, I feel like the quality of passes won't be the same despite, whether or not JC is back on the field or not. We still have Derwin. We got Asante Samuel. We got all these other DBs that are pretty good at generating turnovers. We should still see opportunities to make big plays in JC's absence, even if he doesn't make it back to the lineup sooner than later. So when do I think he'll return? What's my realistic timetable for JC to come back into the fold of the Chargers this season? Again, I'm no doctor. I have no idea what sort of ankle surgery would take only 2 to 4 weeks to heal. But what I think, I'm going to go off of team tendencies here, okay, rather than what I would understand with the injury. What I think is going to happen is that we see JC Jackson ready by week 2 versus the Chiefs. I think that's pretty, realistic thinking. It would be about 2.5, 3 weeks, past the time that they said and his healing would take. However, I do need to point out that Brandon Staley is a very, very cautious coach when it comes to injuries, okay? So he may slowly work JC Jackson back into the lineup instead of inserting him right away. So what I think we would likely see is Michael Davis and JC Jackson sharing duties at cornerback, let's say in the game versus Kansas City Chiefs. You just kind of make sure that he's good to go. He's, up to speed. There's no risk of re-injury. That's the biggest thing with Brandon Staley. And you know what? If JC holds up in that game, I do think we could see JC ready to rock and roll, at full strength, full speed versus the Jacksonville Jaguars in week 3, which is a lot closer to the 4-week time period or the timeline than these other games. But again, it sucks. I know, Chargers fans, this isn't the kind of video you want to see. The timing is unfortunate, but the Texans and Jags, I know they don't possess the same threat as Kansas City and Las Vegas, to start off the season, but still, I do think things could be worse. His talent is definitely going to be missed in those early weeks, though. So don't give up hope on a week 1 return, though. However, we have no idea what the realistic timetable could be at this point. Again, we're just kind of spitballing here and going off what we're seeing online. If this timetable, again, is 2 to 4 weeks and it's from today, then he might be able to return week 1 versus the Raiders. At very worst, we're thinking week 3 or 4 versus the Jags or Houston Texans. Still, it's going to be tough not having him in there versus those division games or those division rivals. So to answer my own question at the top of the video, when do I think he's going to return? And again, this is just a guesstimate. I think he's going to return week 2 at Kansas City in a limited role, sharing time with Michael Davis. But again, we got Derwin, we got Nasir Adderley, we got Asante, we got Callahan. We should be okay till then, but it would have been really cool to see number 27 take the field week 1 versus the Raiders. Still, that is a possibility, but if I were to make a guess, it's going to say Kansas City Chiefs in a limited role in week 2 in that first Thursday night game. Keep that in mind. It's a Thursday night game. So bottom line, it's always a bummer, but I do feel like it could have been much worse, Chargers fans. So we'll have to wait and see how everything kind of spells out for J.C. Jackson and his return, but we'll keep you guys updated as much as possible. Hopefully we see 27, even in a limited role, take on Davante Adams. I think that's the biggest thing I was excited about, is the talent matchup there with the Raiders, being able to take, one of the best cornerbacks in the league versus the best, if not one of the best, wide receivers in the league, and kind of see how that duel shakes out. So let me know in the comment section what you guys think. And let me know what your emotions are and your optimism is in terms of how the Chargers will hold up in his absence. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me. This has been The Director. If you did enjoy what you saw here, hit us up with a like and sub on your way out. We'll see you next time. And as always, bolt up and stay frosty. Come on, JC. Let's make that Raiders game. I want to see 27 versus Davante Adams.